Guys, I can tell you for a fact that I have learned more from YouTube and online resources and courses than I ever have from my, short tenure in college, right? Just to give you guys a little bit of context, I, went to college for about 9 months. I played basketball. It was probably actually more like 6 months. It was a really short stint that I was there. And I played basketball for a very short period of time. I ended up quitting. I didn't enjoy it. And, the stuff that I was learning in college was just laughable. I went to college to go be a business major, which, what does that even mean in the first place? And the stuff that I was learning was insane. Like I went to a liberal arts school in Northwest Illinois, a tiny little school, tiny little school. It's like a high school really. And, I had a good time there. I had a blast. I had all kinds of, friends and a good group, but, it didn't serve me in any way in my professional career, going to that school and doing what I was doing there. It just didn't matter. It was more for fun why I went there, just to be completely honest. It was a little liberal arts school, and, I had professors that were teaching me about business that I could tell had no idea what they were talking about. They were just reading off of a textbook. The people that were, teaching me about marketing, which is some of the courses that I had at the time, like they were talking about like newspaper ads and, all this different kind of stuff. And I'm, listening to this, and it's like about 2017, 2018, I believe, when this is going on, when I was there. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, newspapers? Like, when's the last time you read a newspaper, man? And it's like the stuff that they're teaching in college is so outdated. It's insane. And, these professors and these people that are creating the curriculum for college, it's almost like they're trying to set you up for failure. And I'm not even joking around when I say that, because it's laughable. The stuff that you're learning, the stuff that you're being taught for like 50, 60, 100 grand a year is insane. And people just pay and pay and pay. And I think it's the biggest scam ever. But anyway, my point is YouTube is a cheat code, guys. And if you're listening to this, then you already know what I'm talking about. The fact that you can learn literally anything online if you just set your mind to it and you start doing deliberate research, right? YouTube costs $0 a month, right? And you can learn almost anything to a very, very high degree if you just lock in and commit to learning, right? That's the whole goal. Even I would argue probably the goal with college is to teach you how to, the original goal that they set for college, whenever colleges were created, or like the intention behind it was to teach you how to learn. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. That's what I would imagine college was intended for, is to teach you how to learn, teach you how to be successful, teach you how to figure things out and be resourceful and live on your own and all these things, which are definitely valuable. But you don't need to pay $75,000 a year for tuition to learn that. Right? You can learn that on your own if you're just disciplined enough to be able to learn that on your own, right? Instead of having someone hold your hand and say, hey, you didn't show up to class today, right? If you can just learn how to learn and stay accountable for the goals that you set for yourself, which is to educate yourself, to be, maybe get a better career, or, make more money, or go get a job, whatever it might be. If you can just develop the discipline to do that on your own, man, you don't need college. You don't need all these things. You can do all this completely for free. Or if you're going to pay a little bit for this, then you can pay mentors who can teach you a little bit more of the nuanced, advanced tactics and things that might be relevant to whatever it is you're learning about. But man, you do not need college. You do not need any of this kind of stuff. It's a joke. And I think these colleges are dying. Like the college that I mentioned that I went to, I guarantee you in the next 10, 15 years, that college will no longer exist, because people are no longer falling for the 1950s kind of boomer mentality of like, hey, you have to go to college to be successful in this world. We all know that's not the case, right? You can be very successful not going to college. I didn't go to college. I went for a year or so, but I mean, it's has not served me in any way possible. And not one person in my entire time working in the real world, not one person has asked me where I went to school. Not one. And that should say something, because it doesn't matter. All that matters in the real world is, can you produce results for my business? That's all that matters. Can you produce the results, or can you not? And if you can, nobody cares. And if you learn from YouTube and I learn from, Yale, and you can produce results better than me, then who cares? I mean, how would you feel if this was your business and you were hiring somebody? Do you really care if they learn from YouTube and they have the results to back up their actions? Or, nobody cares. They just want the results. Can you make me more money? That's the only question that matters in business. Can you make me more money? Can you save me more money? And if the answer is no to either of those, then next, right? College is a scam, guys. You can learn every single thing you need to learn on YouTube and by paying mentors. And I think both are valuable. I think YouTube is really good for discovering, topical information and being able to get a basic understanding of how things might work, how to sell, how to be a marketer, how to, build a service business, all the things that we talk about on this channel. You can get a very good understanding on how those things work by just taking advantage of the free content that we have, on YouTube. That's what this channel is about. That's what all kinds of other channels are about that, are way more successful than me and might have better advice. There's all kinds of information out there, guys. There's all kinds of information. And I think YouTube is awesome for being able to discover what those things might be and being able to get an idea, okay, this exists. I can do this now. And then once you have a good understanding of the basics, that's where I think it becomes valuable to get like a one-on-one mentor or somebody who can, you can hop on a phone call with, every once in a while and be able to speak to them about, hey, I'm struggling with this issue in my ad account for my marketing client. How do I solve this issue? That's a nuanced question, right? You can't get those types of questions answered usually on YouTube, right? Those specialized questions on, hey, I got this sales prospect that I'm trying to sell, but they're saying this. How do I fix this, right? And they have this special situation. It's going to be difficult for you to get those answers on YouTube, again, because it's just more generalized. That's just the nature of the platform, right? But if you have a mentor or 2 or 3 mentors or people that you've worked with that, maybe you don't even pay these people, but you just ask them for help. That's where that becomes really valuable, is because they can answer those nuanced questions and help you become even more sharp when it comes to your skill set. So I hope this makes sense, guys. This is kind of like a ramble. At least it feels like that. But I hope this is valuable to you guys because, again, you can learn every single thing you need to learn on YouTube. There's nothing that you really need to pay for besides, maybe some advanced courses if you, want to learn a really specific skill and, mentorship from people who have actually done whatever it is that you're trying to do. I mean, besides those 2 things, man, college is a joke. And you really don't need to pay for anything. So that's my thoughts, guys. I would love to hear your opinion. If you disagree, agree, of course, like this video, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, subscribe to the channel, guys. This is a growing channel. We're trying to, I'm trying to put as much content out here as possible that's, valuable to you guys and, just relatable as to, life, business, and money and how to become, more quote unquote successful, however you determine that to be. So would love your guys' support as we, go on this journey together, man. That sounds kind of cheesy, but that's really what it is. I'd love to, get you guys' support and, hopefully earn your subscription to this channel. So anyway, guys, I love you. Hope you guys have a great day and, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.